was your last contest bodybuilding side of things?
2019.
That was relatively recent. Yeah.
Yeah. I soft retired. I unofficially retired. I stepped away in 2012.
Yes.
And then for 7 years, I switched to powerlifting and didn't do any bodybuilding. And then in 2019, I returned to the stage for my last time officially, and then like actually officially announced retirement there.
And that was at the Guzman Classic, right?
Yep, Summer Shredding Classic.
Yeah, right on. And you kind of, it's interesting because some people, they compete, they want to like to get a pro card and become a world champion and do that. And you did it for kind of other reasons, which I thought was really cool. I mean, obviously you had the channel, right? Not that at one point or another you weren't trying to be that guy, but when did you realize you didn't want to be a world champion and do it like that? Because I'm sure did you have that like instilled in you at some point?
Yeah. I remember in 2009, so I was in high school, senior year of high school. I remember I had done a couple of OCB shows and like an INBF show, and I was just really amped to work my way up to like nationals. Like I can't remember what it is now, but the equivalent of nationals for those natural federations, and then eventually make it to like my WNBF pro card and go to WNBF Worlds or whatever. Like I was all about it hardcore in high school, and I think that's why my channel did so well. On top of just being the right time to start YouTube, my passion was just through the roof at that time for competitively. But probably around 2012, when I had just turned 21 years old, and that was when I was cutting for that Muscle Beach contest, and that was my last contest for 7 years. That was when I realized that I no longer had aspirations for that, and it came back to what I said earlier, where I just started seeing things more realistically. I didn't have the body dysmorphia driving me anymore, the bigorexia that wasn't driving me anymore. And that's a bigger drive than most people realize. If you have some sort of complex with your body or insecurity, like that drives people more than they even realize. And so when that goes away and that's what got you started, a lot of that fire behind you kind of dies down. And then, like I said, I'd always sacrificed everything in high school for competing and stuff like that. I didn't care. Sacrifice relationships, social things, whatever. I think I was at a point though, like 2021, where I was really like, for the first time, like kind of being like, oh, it's kind of nice enjoying some sort of a social life and focusing on other things. Yeah, like when that relationship went to shit and the bodybuilding contest prep played a part in that, that also made me look at bodybuilding with a little bit of disdain, even though it wasn't bodybuilding's fault, of course, but just me losing that fire, seeing myself realistically finally in both good and bad ways. Good being like, okay, you're not small, dude. Like you're actually big now. You don't have to worry anymore. But then bad also realizing at the same time, like, okay, you got to be realistic. You don't have the genetics for like pro card, natural or otherwise. Both those combined kind of made it so it's like, oh, I don't really feel that obsessed about bodybuilding anymore. And then again, mix that with like, it just felt like more of a chore balancing it at that point in my life. So that was kind of like what made me shift gears. And then I loved returning to it in 2019, and I loved returning to a hybrid version of it in 2018. I mean, I love it still, but at that point I was doing it more for like me and the content, not with aspirations for competition.
Which makes sense on the contest you chose too. Nothing against the contest you chose. I just mean in terms of where that could lead to, right? As far as
exactly.
Right. Yeah. It's more a social gathering kind of thing, right? Or maybe I got that wrong. I don't know, because I hear Christian Guzman.
No, you got it pretty. Like, that's essentially what I went for. Like what I did it for. Like it was a number of reasons. One, it was Christian's show, and like all my friends are out there. And two, it's like heavily publicized. It's all over everyone's YouTube channel, and it's a big deal view wise. Not competitively, but view wise, it's a big deal. So all those were like appealing to me. And then the big thing was I was very honest with myself. I knew I was not getting back into bodybuilding like on a serious level. I knew I didn't want to get my pro card or anything like that. I was going to do this one more time just to have a final hurrah with it. So I didn't want to go and find some serious show to jump into, whatever the federation would have been. I didn't want to. Christian seemed perfect for the reasons you said. And to give credit where it's due, like some of the competitors there are nasty looking, like in a good way. Like the guy who won the overall looked phenomenal. So there's some really badass competitors that show up there. So like it is a relaxed vibe in that sense. And you get some people that are brand new, never stepped on stage a day in their life. But then you get people that look really good too. it held up pretty close to how any, I think, local level bodybuilding show is. Honestly, that's how it, even like a regional level bodybuilding show. So I got to give them credit. It was a great event in that respect.